All right, guys, here we are back again, and we're talking about fat.
Visceral fat, subcutaneous fat.
And what role do they play on our body, our anatomy, our, you know, everything dealing with us. So let's address the two types of fat first of all.
Alright.
Subcutaneous
And visceral.
Visceral
Fat generally is the fat around your organs. You know what I'm saying? And that is pretty much the dangerous fat, I would like to call it. For a few reasons that, for one, it's closer to a blood supply. You know what I'm saying? So it's metabolically active. Now, subcutaneous fat is the little fat that's like just underneath your skin.
There you go.
Yeah, right there.
The ab fat,
right?
AKA.
Right.
Like you
Ab
said
fat.
in the last one.
The ab fat. A lot of people are concerned about it. You know what I'm saying? But
it's not the one that should be most,
right.
as far as your health is concerned. As far as health is
you should be more concerned about the amount of visceral fat you got, you know, because this is the one visceral fat basically wrap around your organs. So you could just think of it as somebody just have your organs in a chokehold. It's never gonna function properly. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
That's what visceral fat does primarily. Now subcutaneous fat, the one exactly underneath your skin, it's just storage. It's not as close to a blood supply, so it's not as active. So you know,
but it's still active.
It's still active.
But not as
much or as dangerous as visceral fat. You know what I'm saying? You don't want anything interfering with your organs. I guess you probably heard of a fatty liver disease. That's one of the things that happens when you have a lot of visceral fat. You know, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, if you want to get rid of them, it's going to come down to your diet.
Definitely.
There's no way about that. You know what I'm saying? You could do a million sit-ups if you like.
It's not going to lose.
It's not going to go away unless you're up on that diet. You know what I'm saying? So that's the primary thing with that. You know, diet is the primary thing. Right, and then, you know, you do cardio. I personally prefer high intensity interval training instead of just walking on a treadmill for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I find that to be a waste of time. One of the reasons is, as soon as you get off the treadmill from doing that hour cardio, which they call steady state cardio, nothing happens. You get off of it, you start burning fat. You know what I'm saying? But if you do hits, you know, you actually activate a certain type of hormones called catecholamines, which help you burn fat while you're training and after you're training.
The chronic adaptation.
Right.
Yeah, the acute is like the changes that happen, you know, exactly after the workout, and then chronic adaptations, which are long-term, you know, many bouts of acute, I guess you could say, or acute, many bouts of short exercises.
Right.
Yeah, and then, you know, it builds up to that. So definitely, you know, that high intensity interval training, as far as that's concerned, I agree. I mean, that's the only style of cardio I do. I find it to be way more effective. It builds lean muscle mass, time efficient.
Right.
So you can't say you don't have time. You can't say that if you don't have time for cardio. Obviously, you don't have to kill yourself. You know, starting off, you take it easy, progressively build up your intensity or time, and that's how you could incorporate that style of cardio into your exercise plan.
Something we need to realize as well, cardio basically is anything that boosts your heart rate. You know what I'm saying? So whether you're on a treadmill or you're riding a bike or whatever, as long as it gets your heart rate up, it's cardio. So another thing that I really recommend to get rid of body fat and still keep your muscles active
and burning
as well is the hits, and then I like circuit training.
Yes, definitely. Starting out, especially starting out for someone new, circuit training is probably like the best way for you to go about, you know, getting your body adapted to exercise. For one, you're getting that heart rate up, and then, you know, goes down a little bit, and then, you know, you have time to recover up again. So getting that rhythm of, you know, just your body getting used to the exercise, different stimulus.
And then again, which is something that I'm big on, when you do circuits, your muscle is active. Most people who just come in to train, they have a really, you know, low metabolism. You know what I'm saying? So when you do stuff like circuits, it gets your muscles active. So that's gonna get your metabolism going. And if your metabolism is high, then you burn more fat as well. So I really like a mix of circuit training because it helps you get your muscles active. Plus you burn a whole bunch of fat doing that. So hits typically takes 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, and usually if you could go longer than that, you're not doing it the right way.
Doing it right.
You shouldn't be able to go that long. It shouldn't be like steady state cardio. It shouldn't be like that. Otherwise, once you reach that hour and you're doing a hit, you're not doing hit anymore. That's not what you're doing.
You have to challenge yourself. And in case you know exactly what hit is, I'm gonna give you an example. Like you're on the treadmill, and you will be like on level 3, right? And then you'll be walking or jogging slightly. And then you would have to push it all the way up to like 10. And you go all out for like 35, 40 seconds, maybe 50, depends on you. And then you just drop it back to like level 3, and then you walk or jog for that for like 2 minutes. And then you do that, you do the same thing again, and you do that about 4 times, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? It's way more effective, your muscles are more involved. I mean, you release certain hormones, you know, like epinephrine, and you burn more fat that way, you know what I'm saying? I always like to say as well, you can go check it for yourself. You can do some research.
Definitely. I would recommend that all the time.
Every time. Never take somebody's word for it. Do your own research, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, giving you a heads up. But
there you go. Getting the heads up. So you're getting an edge on it. You hear someone say it, like, okay, now you're aware of it. Let me go find out if what they're saying is really true.
So you do the research. I personally, when I started researching that, I used to compare steady state versus high intensity interval training. And to me,
high intensity is the way for me too, bro.
It makes way more sense, you know. You save time, you burn more fat that way as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's much better.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and definitely, and coming back, back to the point, visceral fat, while it is the most dangerous, it is the first thing that you'll lose when you start working out.
Right.
You know, as soon as you think about working out, it's gonna, start coming off. That's what's gonna happen. The first fat that comes off is a visceral fat. And then, the body knows that the subcutaneous fat isn't supposed to be there. Right. So that's why you get like the lady tuck shut arms and the love handles, because the body knows it's not supposed to be there, so it pushes it to those sections of the body. It's like, man, this is not good for me. I want it off. Get off of me. So you have that fat there. You have it, around the thighs, and dealing with the hormonal imbalances too. Estrogen, things like that.
And while we're on that point, man, I know, especially the ladies, I know y'all have that thing that you wrap around.
What's it called? Waist trainer.
Waist trainer. It's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why, right? What it does, it flattens your fat out. And then what's really bad is it gets you dehydrated. So you might think you lost some weight, but you just lose water. As soon as you drink water again, it's gonna be right there.
Covering the problem with not getting to the root of it.
Exactly. So it's, to be honest, it's a waste of time. It makes no sense, you know what I'm saying? Because for you to metabolize fat, you need oxygen. Unless that is providing oxygen to your mitochondria,
which is not.
It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna lose fat like that. So you're just gonna get dehydrated. You might compress the fat cells for a little bit, but it's gonna come right back out.
It's what's it called? Aesthetic trick. It's not really the actual internal. It's not doing anything internally for you. And that's why, people get to the root of the problem. You're like, I want a six-pack, man, come on, a six-pack. If you want a six-pack, you gotta check your diet. Which is probably above all, because you could have the muscle, definition under there, but the fat is what's covering it. That layer of subcutaneous fat is what's blocking it from being, seen.
Exactly.
So that's what it comes down to.
The next thing I like to direct at the ladies specifically too. You need to be careful with the scales, man, because especially when you're training. If you're training, you have to understand, like, muscle is gonna be more condensed than fat, so it's gonna actually weigh a little more. So if you're doing any kind of strength training, you could actually get heavier
while losing the fat. Putting on muscle.
Exactly, which is what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? When you put on some muscle, you're not gonna get brolic like those girls you see. It took them like 10, 20 years.
And they're taking a ton of supplement. There you go.
Probably, I don't know, probably some drugs and stuff. So never worry about getting too brolic. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the scale when you're training, because you basically concerned about about getting your fat percentage down. That's all you need to worry about. So if you have a trainer, he should tell you that in order to look better, don't worry about building muscle, worry about losing fat. So what that does is gonna eliminate the scale, and what needs to be done is he needs to check your body fat percentage. So if you start training today and you're 25% body fat, you know what I'm saying? He should be like average person, yeah. And then he should be like, all right, in a month we're gonna try to get you down to 20. You know what I'm saying? Whether you seem heavier or lighter, we're gonna go to 20.
Right.
And you're just gonna keep getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. But you might get heavier because muscle is heavier than fat. You know what I'm saying? Muscle is more compact, so it has more weight. So once you start training, ladies, you need to realize that the scale is gonna mess with your mind a little bit, especially when it's close to your menses. You know what I'm saying? When that cycle comes on, you're gonna hold water and all kinds of stuff, and then you're gonna get frustrated. I know. But don't even worry about it, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, no, and I definitely agree. I did an interview with a lady. Her name is Lisa Stella, and that's what she talked about. You know, she was so focused on the scale, seeing the scale. She got discouraged. You know, it was depressing for her seeing her, you know, weight and whatnot, and that distracted her from what was really important. And that's why it comes down again, man. I mean, while yes, you want to have a good-looking physique and whatnot, that should not be the main focus, which I cannot stretch enough.
Exactly.
You know, the main focus should be longevity and wellness, and then with that, you know, a byproduct you'll get, you know, looking like how you want to look.
Yeah, trust me, you're gonna be 90 and still want to be sexy.
There you go.
That's for the women and the guys. You're still gonna want to look good, even if you're old as I
know.
You know what I'm saying? So the best thing is to learn and get it done the right way now. So you'll be better off later. You know, you don't have to depend on anybody or anything. You just know. So it's very important, regardless whether you have a trainer or somebody you talk to or whatever, to do your own research. Find out for yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, let them guide you and, you know, provide you with that, but you confirm, okay, boom, based on this, and that's the thing, you have to want to do it, you know? Because not everybody that looks the part knows the part, you know? Someone could look like they're in good shape and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, take me for example, when people used to ask me things, I had no idea what I was really doing. You know, I didn't know about the science behind it and whatnot. And doing my part as becoming a better me, of course, and then helping them, I had to do research. So, you know, constantly looking for new forms of information and confirming, you know, the information that you get from other people. That's what will, you know, get you to that next level where you want to go. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and getting back to visceral and subcutaneous fat, let me give you an idea of how you could know that if you have more visceral fat than subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is balloon-like, so it basically pops out. You know what I'm saying? You get that round balloon-like shape. That's when you know you have more visceral fat.
Swelling, inflammation.
Subcutaneous fat, if you're sitting, it's gonna fold up. Or if you're standing, it's gonna fold up more. That's when you know you have more subcutaneous fat. But once it pops out, and it's round and nothing is really hanging, you have a lot of visceral fat. You know what I'm saying? So, watch yourself in the mirror, see where you're at. Remember, visceral fat is the more dangerous.
It's dangerous, very dangerous for your health.
Exactly.
And don't think fat, I used to think, you know, fat just sits there like, oh, muscle does all the burning, blah, blah, blah. Fat sits there, it does nothing. That is not true. Fat, it creates, you know, chemicals, harmful toxins to your body. And I mean, that's why, you know, when people are obese, it creates a cycle. What's it called? Adipokines, the chemicals that are created from your fat cells. So when you know think of fat acts as an organ, creating these toxins, pushing it into the body, and creating, you know, a bad environment, you know, for your internal organs and for, you know, overall health. Don't think, oh man, I'm fat, I'll be okay, I'm happy with. Yes, you should be happy with yourself. Don't get me wrong. But if you care for yourself and for your health, you know, do what you have to do. Eliminate, you know, the fat that you can by exercising. First of all, start exercising and changing that diet, and you know because you have to exercise. Although you know the diet is probably like the most important part of the pie. Exercise and diet are both pieces of the same pie. Exactly. So you have to do that. Obviously, you know, keeping the heart rate up, you know, pushing out all the stuff in the actual veins, your arteries and whatnot. You need to pump that stuff out of there by doing that exercise, promoting, you know, speeding up the metabolism. releasing helpful hormones. I mean, a whole bunch of positive stuff that takes place when you exercise and when you eat healthy. And once you put the two together, man, full speed ahead. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, you shouldn't make it a chore, make it something difficult for you to do. Get in exercise. I mean, a minimum at least exercise 30 minutes. You know, find someone who can create a plan for you. If you don't know how to put together a balanced plan, because having a good structure, a balanced plan is important for, even if your goal isn't to become a physique competitor or be a bodybuilder, it's still important to have some type of structure. You know, some type of structure, because before you know it, you'll be only doing biceps and you'll never do a leg workout ever, and you won't realize it until someone says, hey, you going for that Johnny Bravo look, like someone told me the other day, but my legs are swole. But anyway.
Put up that fit.
Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. You guys gotta focus on being, you know, healthy, overall healthy, creating a ideal state to live in. And by doing that, you know, man, you have so much energy, you feel good. I mean, I can't even begin to list the amount of benefits that you get from, you know, having a strong immune system, you know, having power, being strong, looking good when you look in the mirror, having confidence, you know, among thousands of other things that probably other people can relate to. So, visceral, subcutaneous, write that down, figure out if, you know, you have that, figure out which one is more abundant. Like you said, boom, if you're swelling up like that, that's probably an indication that you have more visceral fat. And you know, if you have that hanging lump, you know, stuff over here, if you could flap that around, chances are it's more, you know, subcutaneous fat.
Right, and then again too, you generally lose the visceral fat first.
Exactly.
But for most people, man, when you're checking your body out and you want to lose weight,
It's just something.
yeah, but you need to realize that how you're gonna lose body fat. Generally, it's based on your genetics.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So some people might lose it in their arms.
And you can't spot reduce. You can't say I want to lose
Right, you
that
can't
here.
say
You
you're
can't
gonna
start
go
up
do
to
the
you.
sit-ups and lose it right here. You have no control over that. That's purely genetic. You know what I'm saying?
Which is probably one of the biggest roles that comes down to, you know, even your the anatomy of how your muscles will build, and you know, obviously where the fat, and that's mainly the genetic.
A lot of it is genetic. Like some people will put fat more on their arms first. Women generally it's their hips, but a lot of women get it in their arms as well before they even get it in their hips. So a lot of it is genetic. So that being said, you can't really follow somebody else. You gotta keep going and going. Eventually you will realize, hey, this is my body, this is how it works, and stuff like that. And then you could take certain steps, or even be more comfortable within your own skin because you know how your body works and stuff like that. But of course that will come with time, and you need to train, and after a while you will realize what works for you and stuff like that. But you can't spot reduce. You can't say, oh, I'm a train and I want to lose the fat in my arms.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It don't work.
And I mean, another thing, like when you've been in like in the obese state, large for such a long period of time, that's, you know, the fluctuation of weight, where your weight goes up, you know, you lose weight and then it goes back up. Your body, I mean, once you've been for that side for so long, your body almost thinks, oh, this is normal now. You know, this is the size I'm supposed to be. And I mean, if your goal, I mean, if the thing is that you're not losing weight to keep it off, you're gonna be in trouble. Because, you know, what's it called? Juvenile plaque builds up on the inside of your artery walls. That, once again, you know, visceral fat, leads to diabetes, you know, cancer, creation, exactly, you know, all of these crazy stuff that happens to your body because, you know, you're promoting, well, I'm not gonna say you're promoting, you know, the lifestyle, or maybe you have a medical condition that causes you to get to that size, but don't become complacent and okay with that, especially when it's becoming detrimental to your health and, you know, you're putting yourself at risk. That's when you gotta get up. Most people don't take a change until, you know, the doctor tells them they need to.
Exactly, and a lot of people need to be more patient. If you're obese, it took you 20 years to get there. Obese.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Then you want to get slim in a month. You know what I'm saying? It took you some time to get on. It's going to take a little time to get off as well. You know what I'm saying?
Progressive.
So be aware of that. And, you know, like I always say, man, you can't really follow what the media is telling you.
Yeah, man, I mean,
it's obvious that stuff don't work. So you have to be patient with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know that health should be first. It's nothing that you should put on the back bench at all. You know what I'm saying? You're not healthy, you're not gonna live right on all kinds of levels. You know what I'm saying? So be patient with yourself and realize it took you a while to get that way, so it should take you a while to get it on.
And that's why time should not be a main factor when you're trying to get there. Because here's the thing, if you're focusing on too much time, you set a time here, and even if you set goals, don't get me wrong, you should set goals to where you want to reach a specific milestone. But time should not be the main factor. Because once you say, boom, I want to get here by this time, and if I don't, and that's all you're depending on, you're gonna quit. You know, because you're like, man, summer's next week, and I want a six pack, and I don't have anything. My body fat is 25%. You're being unrealistic. And I mean, as funny as it may sound, some people literally think it's true. It's no lie.
If you want a six pack for the summer, you can't train in summer. You would have to train at a 6 month price. Start training in the winter.
There you go.
It's gonna take some time. You can't expect to get a six pack in a few weeks or a month or two. It's gonna take some time. So that's my advice to you all as well. Definitely. If you want to get a six pack next year, July, August, or for Labor Day,
you better start right now.
Today. As a matter of fact, go on your bed, do some ab work right now.
Do that right now. And then go to the kitchen and
cook some broccoli.
There you go, man.
Right
That's
now.
what you have to do.
Yeah, if you want to get it next year, you have to start now. You can't start 2 weeks or a month before summer.
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
And here's the thing, I mean, yes, here's something you should look at. The change that will take place, you could look for at least 8 to 12 weeks. I would say that, like, for some type of change, any exercise you do, if you go from not exercising at all, you're going to see change. I'm pretty sure we mentioned this in the last video, but I mean, you would think that would, go without saying, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. Any type of stimulus, even if you're doing bad form, which you don't want to do, but even if it's bad form, if you've gone from doing nothing, something's gonna happen.
You're gonna activate muscles.
Which I mean, if people understood that, you would just start working out,
Right.
And I mean, the further you get into your journey, the more difficult it does become to get to that next little step, and things like that. Putting like that extra, like 2 pounds onto a heavy bench press you have, things like that. But initially, like, the progress jump might be boom. And then, like, it will drop down, and then it will go up gradually. It will drop. You might get an injury and things like that. So it's not. Don't think it's a straight line up, and you're just gonna keep going up. That's one thing that you have to keep in mind. So I think we could wrap up, for the most part now. Maybe next time we could talk about the joint pain. So you talk about like metabolic waste building up and acidity. When you rest, and so does the acid and whatnot in your joints, and that's when you experience pain. Because a lot of people do come and say, I want to get to working out, but the joints or my ligaments and blah blah this.
Sometimes
and
all you need to do is work out.
That's it, man. That's it.
Probably just too weak.
That's it. And the joints are trying to do all the work on their own. So guys, once again, we're here with
Zabo from ZKlinic Fitness on Facebook. Check me out. Me and my friends, we try to stimulate some interest in
you go, man. And I think he's doing a wonderful job so far. This man knows his stuff. He's on it, and man, we're ready to change people's lives and get everything going. So thanks again, guys. Please share the video, subscribe, and definitely tune in for the next video. Good night, good morning, wherever you guys are. Take it easy.
Peace out.
All right.